Hey guys, apologies for the wind. It's really bad here today. A lot of the garden fence at the back has been uprooted, so I'm going to have to get out there and somehow try and stake that when the weather improves. So yeah, apologies for any noise in the background. So decided that it was going to have to change these Rosso II tyres. 5,200 miles, and probably the last thousand's been a bit dodgy. The back tyre, as you may recall, was pretty much square. There was a good flat on that, and the front tyre, the road camber, has pretty badly worn that on one side, so it was really twitchy over painted lines and stuff like that. So what I've decided to do is I've bought a new set of Ducati alloys that have got Pirelli Rosso IIs fitted. It's really the wheels I wanted in the first place, but the bike didn't come with them. I managed to get those at a really good price from a Ducati dealership up in Northern Ireland. So I had those delivered today, and they're just down at the shop being balanced at the moment. The two original wheels I will keep for winter use, and I've got some Michelin, is it Power 3 or Pilot 3? It's one of the only, well, there's only 3 tyres that fit this bike at the moment. It's the Rosso II, the Michelin, I'm sure it's the Power Pilot 3, and there is a new Michelin, I think it's called Power RS. It's just been released just the last few weeks, but it's really more leaning towards track use, and I don't think the wear was going to be brilliant on it. So yeah, all down at the shop being balanced, the new tyres fitted. I obviously took the wheels off. There's quite a knack with this. You watch the YouTube clips and this nut undoes really easily, but actually I had to get a 3-foot length of scaffold bar over the socket wrench to undo this. But there's simply a locking pin on the outside. Actually, I'm going to need to grab the pliers because I just reassembled this for keep all the parts safe. But you just literally pull that out, lift this locking retainer, and then undo this. It is your usual anti-clockwise to remove. Behind it there is a very small shim, and then you've got a cone here. In fact, I'll take it off, you can have a closer look. Like I said, this was a nightmare to undo. I had the correct tool, came over from the States, and already such force was used to undo it that it has slightly twisted. You can probably see the light bouncing off of that square section unusually, so it's already damaged that, just the how tight it was. And on the other side of that is the front wheel nut size. So yeah, so as I say, on the on here you've got very thin shim, and then you've got this conical shape there. So the wheel goes on, and then this, the washer, then the nut, and then the retaining ring. I was just looking at the corrosion that is on here. I'm going to have to see if we can get some XCF50 and just brush it in there and see if we can get this corrosion off. Don't really want to see corrosion around that. I was just looking at the pad that's left. It doesn't look to be a hell of a lot of pad left on there. Obviously a lot of corrosion on this disc. I'm not sure it cleans up during the ride either. It's yeah, pretty bad. The hole underneath here is pretty grotty, despite it being washed. Not really sure what to do about it, to be honest. trying to see down those tubes. They're obviously exposed to water getting into them. I just wondered if there's a nut, you know, a bolt that goes down there that holds this this in place. I guess there is, but what happens to the water? Does that just fill up? Oh dear. Anyway, so yeah, that's the rear wheels being sorted. The only thing you need to do really is remove the exhaust, but it's no problem. There's a bolt here, and that's on that hanger there, and then you just also need to undo the nut here, and the whole exhaust is pretty loose anyway. God, that's heavy. I'm going to take this chance just to give this a good clean over, probably rub some XCF50 into it and clean it all up. And yeah, that's obviously the side panniers had to come off, but that was really it. As I said, the only way really to get this off was to use a piece of scaffold bar over the socket wrench, and I did it so the bar was sort of upright here, and I put my foot on the back brake really hard and just pushed the bar away, and eventually it decided to go. Can't remember the torque wrench settings, but they're available on the net. In fact, there's a website that has the whole Ducati Diavel service manual available, so I quickly copied that website just in case it disappears, and now we've got the service manual for the bike. So just going to move on to the front. There is a sequence here. The first thing you need to do is undo the nut, remove that, then undo the pinch bolts either side. You've got to obviously unscrew the calipers. Do not leave them hanging there on the pipework. I've actually suspended those on cable ties, which is taking all the weight, so there's no tension on those pretty thin looking hoses. Similar amount of pad left to the rear, so I just wonder how much these have in the first place. As you can see, hopefully enough for a good while longer. This is the ABS pickup sensor. Adjustment of this is by shim here. You can probably see it's made up of a number of shims. So yeah, there is a spacer here, goes that way around. When you remove the axle, and it's here, that's the left end as you look from the front. You actually need to give it a tap with a rubber or nylon mallet just to get that going. And I was just looking at that. I wonder if it's had a bit of corrosion. Oh, yeah, I think it is. Let me have a look. Yeah, corrosion on the axle there. Yeah. So yeah, this. Yeah, so I'm going to need to clean that up really thoroughly as well. What was I saying? Yes. So tap the axle out from the left of the bike if you're sitting on it. The right hand side if you're out on the front. And just tap it in, and then with the correct size socket you can actually just drift it out. If you take the weight of the wheel in one hand, you can just tap it out with the other. So yeah, just lift the wheel up slightly. Once you get a certain amount out here, you can grip it and wiggle it and just slide that out. No particular problems. But again, we're going to have to deal with this corrosion that's in here. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, bloody winters. If only we could have dry weather permanently, eh? So there you go. Nothing much to report so far. Putting the front back is not as straightforward as just slinging it all back together, you've got to make sure that the fork legs align. You've also got to make sure the calipers and the pads are all aligned and bedded in correctly before you bolt everything up. But there's other videos on YouTube explaining all that. I'm not going to go through. Well, I might do. I might just set the tripod up and go through that. But it's all pretty straightforward, and most of it's common sense. So yeah, that's it. Hopefully this time tomorrow, the what I'm classing as the original tyres with winter tyres will be back on it, and my nice new alloys will be balanced and ready for the summer use in a month or two. We shall see. As far as the warranty stuff is going, I believe that's all progressing, and yeah, I'll update you tomorrow when hopefully this is all back together again. But I've really no idea how I'm going to clean all that up. Catch you later.